welcome. Tonight, we invite you to drift into a story both familiar and timeless. This is the tale of Alien, the 1979 classic, retold gently in a way that eases your mind and carries you toward rest. The sharp edges of suspense are softened here, shaped into a quiet journey through space. As you listen, you may simply enjoy a beloved story, or let your thoughts wander peacefully until sleep takes hold. Wherever you are, whether preparing for rest, winding down after a long day, or just seeking calm, you are welcome here. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing so you can return to more stories like this night after night. And if you feel like sharing, leave a comment to tell us where you are listening from or when you plan to drift off. Now, settle in, breathe deeply, and let the journey of the Nostromo unfold. In the vast silence of space, a tiny spark of life drifts. The commercial towing vessel Nostromo hauls its massive refinery, a structure so large it dwarfs the ship itself. Stars shimmer like scattered ice, cold and indifferent. The vessel hums faintly, engines thrumming with mechanical steadiness, carrying its cargo slowly homeward through endless night. Inside, the ship is quiet, corridors empty, screens dark. Only the soft vibration of the engines reminds that it is alive. Doors sit sealed, chambers hushed, machinery ticking softly as though in slumber. The Nostromo is a floating city of steel, yet at this moment it feels more like a tomb. In the heart of the ship rests its mother, the onboard computer. Panels glow faintly, codes trickling across green screens. With a spark of purpose, Mother awakens. Lights hum brighter, air circulates through vents. Machinery stirs, relays click. A deep voice of technology begins guiding the vessel into its next cycle. Elsewhere, the hypersleep chamber stirs. 7 pods rest in a row, frost gathering on their transparent lids. Inside each, a crew member sleeps, suspended between time and dream. Monitors glow softly, checking vitals, keeping their fragile bodies alive in the long passage through space. One by one, the pods respond to Mother's call. Lights brighten, lids slide open with a hiss of air. Cold mist spills outward, clinging to the floor like fog. Inside, the crew stirs slowly. Eyelids flutter, limbs shift, lungs draw in the first heavy breaths of waking. The chamber fills with motion. Dallas, the captain, rises first, brushing dampness from his beard. Lambert, the navigator, groans softly, shielding her eyes from the light. Kane coughs, muttering as he stretches. Each body emerges clumsy, heavy, as though the ship itself weighs upon them. Nearby, Parker and Brett, the engineers, trade weary grumbles. "Same old rust bucket," Parker mutters, rubbing his eyes. Brett nods silently, his face still slack with sleep. Ash, the science officer, watches quietly, movements precise, almost too composed, as if hypersleep barely touched him. Ripley reases last, hair damp with condensation, her gaze sharp even through fatigue. She says little at first, observing more than speaking. In her silence, there is steadiness, a sense of focus. The crew around her shake off sleep, stretching into themselves again. The air warms as the crew gather in the mess hall. Coffee steams, utensils clatter softly. Conversation starts haltingly, then grows louder. Jokes pass between bites of food. The scene feels almost ordinary, as though they are not adrift in endless night but waking from a shared dream at home. Yet a weight lingers. Their eyes turn occasionally toward Dallas, waiting for the reason behind their early waking. Routine dictates they should still be in hypersleep, far from home but safe. The unspoken question sits between them. Why are they awake at all? Dallas excuses himself from the table and walks the quiet corridor toward the control room. His footsteps echo softly, a lonely sound within the vast metal halls. He enters the chamber of Mother, where screens glow faint green, filling the space with a steady hum. He slips into the padded chair, surrounded by walls of buttons and lights. "What woke us?" he murmurs, speaking almost as if to a presence. Mother answers in streams of code across her screens, words appearing in lines that flicker with quiet insistence. The data is clear. The Nostromo has intercepted a transmission, faint, steady, and repeating. It is not of human origin. Dallas leans forward, brow furrowed, studying the waveform. Its tone is eerie, rising and falling like a cry carried through endless space. Back in the mess, the crew grew restless. Lambert chews her lip, muttering about lost time and pay. Parker scowls, slamming his mug down. "We're haulers, not explorers," he gripes. Brett nods in quiet agreement, while Ash listens with unreadable calm. Dallas enters, face serious, holding the weight of Mother's message. "We picked up a transmission," he says. The room falls quiet. Ripley's brow lifts. "From where?" she asks. "Nearby," Dallas answers. "It could be distress." Mother insists we investigate. The reaction is immediate. Lambert sighs, frustrated. "We lose time, we lose pay." Parker erupts louder. "Company doesn't pay us to play rescue." Dallas holds up a hand, steady. "Company says it's our duty. We ignore it, we lose everything." Ripley studies Ash, who has remained silent. At last, he speaks, voiced calm, measured. "Protocol requires investigation. A fine, or worse, if we refuse." His words are logical, but there is something in his tone that feels too practiced, too careful. Dallas makes the choice final. We set down, we investigate. If it's nothing, we leave. The crew groans, Parker mutters, curses, but none argue further. Duty, money, and company law binds tighter than their own desires. The ship groans as Lambert charts the course. Screens light up, coordinates adjusting. Engines rumble deeper, steering the Nostromo toward the source. Beyond the hole, the stars drift slowly, while one dark planet grows nearer, veiled in storm. The crew return to stations, the mood subdued. Brett and Parker grumble through headset chatter as they prepare for atmospheric entry. Ripley lingers at a console, her eyes narrowing at the strange, haunting signal playing faintly over the speakers. The signal plays again, faint and unsettling. It is not language, not music, but something mechanical and sharp. Each rise and fall echoes like a cry through static. Lambert shakes her head. Doesn't sound like distress. Sounds like something else. Ripley leans closer to the speaker. "It's repeating," she says softly. "Structured, that's no accident." Ash scribbles notes on his pad, his face unreadable. "All the more reason to investigate," he says smoothly, voice carrying no trace of doubt. Parker pushes back his chair, frustration boiling. We should be hauling or not chasing ghost signals. Brett mumbles in agreement, always his shadow. Dallas cuts in sharply. We don't have a choice. Company rules. You know that. Dallas explains the directive clearly. Any signal deemed potential distress must be investigated. Failure forfeits pay. That's how it is. The words drop like stones. Grumbling fills the mess, but the truth is undeniable. The company's grip is stronger than protests. Silence lingers after his words. Ripley studies Dallas, her gaze steady. Then let's do it right. We follow procedural, we minimize risk, in and out. Her calm tone cuts the tension slightly, though unease still hangs heavy in the air. Lambert projects the coordinates. The planet grows on the screen, shrouded in storms. Wind patterns swirl violently, atmosphere dense and unstable. This won't be easy, she mutters, fingers tapping nervously on the console. Ash watches the data with fascination. High nitrogen content, traces of methane, unpleasant but survivable with suits. Gravity is close to Earth normal. His words are precise, clinical. He speaks as though cataloging, not warning. Dallas leans over the console. Plot descent. Get us down in one piece. Lambert nods reluctantly, setting the trajectory. Outside, the planet looms larger, its clouds swirling like a restless sea. The Nostromo groans as its engines shift course. In engineering, Parker and Brett prepare for turbulence. Tools clatter, vents rattle. This tub will come apart if we push her too hard, Parker mutters. Brett replies with his usual right. Steam bursts from a valve, the ship already complaining. Ripley makes a final check of the systems, her hands steady. Around her, tension grips the crew, though no one speaks it aloud. The signal continues faintly in the background, a reminder that whatever waits below is not yet understood. The crew strap into their seats, buckles clinking in the dim light. Warning lamps glow amber, casting their faces in uneasy tones. Dallas sits forward, voice calm but tight. All right, Lambert, take us in. She nods, hands tense on the controls. The Nostromo tilts, its engines rumbling deeper. Outside the viewport, clouds swirl like waves of smoke. Lightning flickers within, silent but violent, illuminating shadows across the crew's faces. The planet's storms reach upward, ready to swallow them whole. The ship shakes violently as they breach the atmosphere. Metal groans, pipes shudder, alarms chirp. The refinery groans behind them, an enormous weight tugging at the ship's spine. Parker curses over the intercom. Engines will tear out their mounts at this rate. Lambert grips her chair tighter, sweat beading at her temple. Crosswinds hitting hard. She shouts over the noise. Dallas steadies his voice. Keep her level. The ship bucks again, tossing the crew in their seats. Warnings flash across every console. Ash sits unnervingly still, his gaze locked on the readouts, barely reacting to the turbulence. Ripley glances at him, then back to her own station, adjusting stabilizers. Her motions are precise, practiced, holding the ship together through force of will. The hull rattles like a drum as they push deeper. Parker yells into comms, pressures redlining. We're bleeding systems down here. Dallas responds. Hold her steady. Just get us down. The words are steady, but his jaw is tight with strain. Finally, the surface rises into view through the storm. Jagged rock formations, a barren wasteland wrapped in mist. Lambert eases the ship downward, engines straining. The Nostromo groans one last time before slamming hard onto the ground. The impact throws them forward in their seats. Sparks shower from a console. A panel bursts in engineering. Alarms blare until Dallas cuts them off. Silence falls heavy, broken only by the hiss of damaged systems and the crew's ragged breathing. In engineering, Parker and Brett scramble to assess damage. Steam clouds the air, machinery whining, hull breach sealed, but we're down 2 days at least, Parker mutters grimly. Brett wipes his brow, muttering his trademark, right. The crew unbuckles slowly, tension thick in the air. They've landed, but at a cost. Outside, storms howl against the hull, a reminder of the hostile world beyond. And still, faint through the static, the signal pulses, waiting for them to answer. The storm outside rages, wind battering the hull with a steady roar. Inside, the crew gather in the control room. Screens flicker with coordinates, the signal pulsing faint and steady. Lambert traces the source onto a glowing grid. About 2,000 meters from here, she explains. Dal studies the readout. Not far. We walk. Parker shakes his head in disbelief. Walk in that storm? The captain's eyes don't waver. We don't have a choice. His calm tone leaves no space for argument, though unease deepens in the room. The crew fall into silence, each glancing toward the storm visible through narrow viewports. The clouds swirl like a living thing, lightning clawing at the surface. Ripley breaks the silence. We follow protocol. 3 go out, the rest stay back. Dallas nods. I'll take Lambert and Kane. Parker grumbles. Brett echoes softly. Right. Ash speaks next, voice smooth. Almona keep come steady. His eagerness is noted but unchallenged. Ripley watches him carefully, suspicion flickering. Preparations begin. In the airlock suits hang like empty shells, waiting to be filled. Helmets gleam under cold lights, their glass faces blank. The hiss of oxygen tanks fills the chamber as the trio dress, their movements slow and deliberate. Kane adjusts his helmet, voice muffled through comes. Feels heavy. Lambert replies, it's supposed to. Dowis checks their seals, then his own, his steady leadership, giving the others a fragile sense of confidence. The storm pounds outside, urging them on. Ash watches from the control station, eyes never leaving the monitors. His voice comes calm and precise. Vitals steady. Suit pressure nominal. You're clear. Ripley sits beside him, scanning the data, her own jaw tight. The airlock opens with a groan, a blast of wind and dust rushing in. Visibility narrows to a few meters. Their helmet lights cut pale beams through the storm, illuminating jagged rocks and swirling mist. Each step sinks slightly into the harsh terrain. Inside the ship, Ripley listens closely to the comms, tracking their signals on the monitor. Beeps trace their progress slowly across the screen. She leans forward, tension in her shoulders. Keep chatter steady, she instructs. Silence unsettles her most. The storm pushes hard against them. Lambert struggles, her voice crackling with static. Visibility's terrible. Dallas steadies her. Just stay on course. Kane, at the front, moves with cautious curiosity, his helmet lights sweeping across the alien landscape. The ground beneath their boots is uneven, jagged rock, slick with mist. Each step echoes faintly in their helmets, a reminder of isolation. Kane's voice carries forward through the storm. Strange terrain. Doesn't look natural. His words fade into static. Ripley adjusts comms, trying to keep the channel clear. Signal steady. You're on course. Ash leans close to the console, his gaze fixed on the patterns. Stronger now, he murmurs, fascination in his tone. Ripley eyes him, but says nothing. Dallas leads, beacon in hand. Lightning flashes, casting his figure against towering rock. Lambert follows close, her breathing fast. This storm's tearing us apart, she mutters. Kane, undeterred, pushes forward, driven by restless curiosity. Time stretches. Each minute trudging through wind feels endless. Inside the Nostromo, the remaining crew wait in silence. Parker taps his fingers impatiently. Brett sits quiet beside him. Jonesy, the ship's cat, curls in his cage, indifferent to the storm. Then Kane's voice crackles through comms, sharp with awe. Wait, I see something. His helmet light arcs upward. Through the storm, a shape looms, massive against the horizon. Curved lines, alien architecture, unlike anything human hands could build. Dallas stops, staring. What is that? Even through static, wonder edges his voice. The object towers above, half buried in stone, like the skeleton of a giant. Lambert whispers, "It's a ship." Her words hang heavy, a truth undeniable. They approach slowly, their helmet beams tracing its surface. The whole is dark, ridged, alive with strange patterns. Time has not dulled its presence, even weathered by centuries. It feels immense, ancient, waiting. The storm swirls around it, powerless. Inside the Nostromo, Ripley frowns at the readings. "You're close to the source," she says. Ash leans in, fascinated. Transmissions definitely coming from there. His eyes gleam in the dim glow of the monitor. He seems almost eager. The EVA team reaches the base of the derelict. Its structure rises like a cathedral of bone, curved arches and cavernous shadows. Dowles exhales into his mic, a low, reverent sound. "Let's find a way in." Kane nods, already moving along the surface. They find an opening, jagged and dark. The entry yawns like a wound in the ship's side. Kane steadies his light. Peering in, the beam vanishes into vast emptiness. He turns back to Dulce and Lambert. "Shall we?" His tone carries both fear and thrill. They step inside, boots crunching softly on strange material. The walls curve upward, ribbed and organic, as if the ship itself were alive. Their helmet lights sweep across vast chambers, shadows stretching endlessly, silence pressing close. Dallas pauses, his voice hushed. "This place, it's not built, it's grown." Lambert shivers, glancing around. Feels like walking inside a body. Kane says nothing, pushing forward, drawn deeper into the cavernous corridors. Each chamber reveals new ridges, arches, and tunnels, spiraling like veins. The air is stale, dry with centuries of stillness. Their breathing echoes loudly in helmets. the only sound against the overwhelming silence. At last, they emerge into a vast chamber. At its center sits a towering figure slumped in a chair fused with controls. Its ribcage has burst outward, fossilized flesh and bone petrified by time. Kane whispers, "Dear God." The creature's skull is immense, elongated, alien. Tubes extend from its body, merging with the chair as though pilot and ship are one. Lambert trembles. It's not human. Dallas nods grimly, and it died violently. They step closer, lights brushing across the fossilized remains. The cavity in its chest gapes wide, a grotesque wound. Dallas studies it, unease heavy in his tone. Something came from inside. The room itself feels like a tomb. Dust coats every surface, yet the presence of the pilot is immense. Dominating the chamber, Kane circles slowly, whispering intercoms, "This isn't a ship, it's a graveyard." Back on the Nostromo, Ripley listens with narrowed eyes. She leans closer to the console. "What do you mean, from inside?" she asks. Dallas responds with silence, his voice finally coming low. It's hollow. Something broke out. Lambert shifts nervously, her hands shaking as she steadies her light. "We've seen enough. Let's get out." But Kane shakes his head, signals deeper inside. "I'm going to check." His tone is eager, reckless, pulling them further. Dallas sighs but follows. "All right, careful." The three climb down a steep incline, the tunnel narrowing around them. Their helmet lights sweep over strange shapes embedded in the floor. The air grows heavier, each breath louder in their ears. The tunnel opens into a vast chamber, mist rolling across the floor like breath. Shapes rise from the haze rows upon rows of leathery objects, tall and oval, their surfaces glistening faintly in the light. Kane whispers, "It's beautiful." Dallas steadies his voice, "Stay cautious." Lambert shudders, her eyes darting. There must be hundreds. The chamber feels alive, the air thick with expectation, as though the objects are waiting. Kane kneels near one. His gloved hand brushes the surface gently. It is warm, almost pulsing beneath his touch. The mist shifts around it, curling upward like smoke. He leans closer, fascination shining in his eyes. Through his visor, he sees movement inside. A shadow shifts within, pressing against the thin wall of the leathery shell. He murmurs intercomes, "There's something alive in here." His voice is hushed with awe. Lambert's voice breaks through, tense. "Kane, back away. Don't touch it." But Kane ignores her, leaning in further. The top of the egg stirs, petals slowly peeling back with a wet sound. Steam rises, hissing softly into the air. He peers inside, visor fogging slightly. A fleshy shape rests within, coiled and twitching. His breath quickens. "It's moving," he whispers. Suddenly, it shifts, lashing upward. The creature launches out, striking his helmet with terrifying speed. Kane cries out as it wraps around his face, long limbs tightening, tail coiling around his throat. His screams turn muffled, his body jerking in panic. Lambert shrieks, stumbling backward. Dallas curses, rushing forward to grab Kane. The creature clings with impossible strength, fused to his visor, pressing against the glass until cracks spread across the surface. Kane collapses, thrashing. Dallas and Lambert drag him up, struggling against his weight. "We've got to get him back to the ship." Dallas shouts. Lambert's voice trembles. Ripley won't let us in. They haul Kane up the incline, storm raging outside the derelict. His body jerks helplessly as the creature grips tighter. The cums fill with his muffled gasps. Behind them, the eggs sit silently, their mist curling upward, waiting for more. The storm lashes at the Eva team as they stagger toward the Nostromo, Kane's limp body dragging between Dallas and Lambert. The creature clings tighter, its long tail coiled firmly round his throat, pulsing faintly with each breath he cannot take. Inside, Ripley paces near the airlock, watching the signal on her console. Her voice sharpens, overcomes. Quarantine protocol. You can't bring him in. Not with something attached. Her tone leaves no room for doubt. Lambert's voice cracks through static. He'll die out here. Ripley's answer is steady, cold. If we break protocol, we all die. You know the rules? Dallas remains silent. He's breathing heavy, torn between duty and desperation. Ash interrupts, voice calm, persuasive. I can keep him alive. We need to study it. Open the hatch. Ripley glares at him, fury in her eyes. You don't give that order. Her hand hovers over the controls, refusing, but Ash acts swiftly, overriding her command. Warning lights flash as the inner lock cycles open. The Eva team stumbles inside, dragging Kane's body. Ripley spins on Ash, her voice low with anger. You just endangered all of us. Ash says nothing, his expression smooth, controlled. His gaze flicks briefly toward Kane, the creature fused to his face, then back to his console. For him, the decision seems less about safety and more about curiosity. In the infirmary, Kane lies motionless on the table. The creature grips his face, translucent flesh pulsing. Its body rises and falls as if breathing for him. The crew stare in horrified silence. Parker mutters, "It's keeping him alive." Dallas leans close, his voice hushed. "Can we get it off?" Ash tilts his head, studying. "We'll try." He selects tools with clinical calm, hands steady as if the moment excites him. The others watch uneasily, their fear growing. Ash pries at the creature's limbs, but its grip is iron. Each touch makes it tighten. Kane's chest heaving faster beneath it, Ash lifts a scalpel, sliding it carefully between flesh and helmet. The creature twitches, tail constricting. He makes a shallow cut. At once, thick yellow fluid sprays outward, sizzling as it hits the metal table. Smoke rises, the acid eating through steel. The crew leap back in alarm. Brett swears under his breath. It burns right through. The acid drips to the floor, hissing violently. Smoke curls upward, acrid and choking. Dallas shouts, "Move." The crew rush into the corridor as the liquid burns a hole through the deck, leaving glowing edges where metal melts away. They follow the trail downward. Acid drips to the next level, sizzling as it chews deeper. Sparks burst from exposed wires. Lambert covers her mouth with her sleeve, eyes wide. It's going right through the ship. Parker swears loudly, his voice echoing through the metal halls. What kind of blood does that? Ripley's face hardens as she watches the corrosive trail spread. Something we're not equipped to fight. The acid finally cools, leaving a dark, smoking hole etched deep into the lower deck. The crew stare silently, shaken. For the first time, they understand the creature is more than dangerous. It is untouchable. Back in the infirmary, Kane's chest rises and falls faintly beneath the creature. The alien's limbs twitch with each pulse, holding tighter. Ash observes intently, eyes sharp. It protects itself perfectly. Attack it, and the ship dies with him. Ripley glares at Ash, frustration biting her words. You let it on board. Now you say we can't fight it. Ash doesn't look up. Protocol was followed. We're learning. His calm tone only deepens the distrust pooling in the room. Dallas runs a weary hand over his face, muttering, We wait. Maybe it lets go. The idea feels hollow, but no one argues. The alien grips Kane like a parasite, refusing to release its host. Hours pass in uneasy silence. The crew scatter across the ship, but no one finds rest. Parker and Brett tinker in engineering, their voices subdued. Lambert sits alone in the mess, hands trembling over untouched food. Ripley lingers outside the infirmary, listening to Kane's shallow breaths through the glass. She studies Ash at his station, watching how he never takes his eyes off the creature. Her suspicion deepens, though she keeps her thoughts guarded. At last, Dallas enters the infirmary again. Kane lies still, the creature unmoving. Let's try another scan, Dallas says softly. Ash nods, powering equipment. The hum of machines fills the room as the mystery of the parasite presses closer. Ash sweeps the scanner over Kane. A faint rhythm appears on the screen. It's feeding him oxygen, he murmurs. Symbiotic, for now. Uneasy glances pass between the crew. Ripley's arms fold tight. It's keeping him alive for itself, not him. Ash, absorbed by data, doesn't look up. His fascination chills her more than the thing on Kane. They return to a quiet infirmary. Kane lies motionless. The creature is gone. Panic spikes. Where is it? Dallas demands. Ash, too calm. It must have detached. Cavited slam. Shadows deepen. Brett mutters as nerves fray. Ripley opens a locker slowly, hand steady though her chest thunders. The thing dangles lifeless, limbs curled. It drops with a wet slap. Lambert gasps. Parker prods it with a tool. Dead? He asks, doubtful. Ash lifts the limp body with gloved care, sealing it in a container-like treasure. Ripley's eyes narrow. Burn it. Ash shakes his head. We should study it. Dallas cuts in, weary. Later. Kane first. On the bed, Kane stirs, eyelids flutter. Relief ripples through the room, thin but real. Kane coughs, hoarse, water. Ripley steadies him. Pale and weak, he breathes on his own. Lambert's voice softens. He's back. They gather in the mess. Laughter returns in small waves. Kane sits, slow but smiling. For a moment, the nightmare loosens its hold. Trays clatter. Jokes rise. Then Kane's breath catches a rough cough, racks him. He tries to laugh it off as pain twists his face, sudden and sharp. Kane grips the edge of the table, his body jerking. Laughter turns to gasps, then screams. The crew rush to him. Parker shouts, "Hold him down!" His cries echo against the steel walls. Kane convulses, food scattering across the table. His eyes roll, sweat pouring. Lambert whimpers, pressing against the wall. Frantic voices rise. no one knowing what to do. Kane's chest bulges sharply, fabric straining. Dallas grips his arms, shouting his name. Ripley's eyes widen in horror. The bulge pushes harder, threatening to burst. With a crack, blood sprays. Kane screams once before his chest bursts open. Flesh tears, bone snaps, and a creature erupts upward, shrieking. The room freezes in shock. The pale creature writhes, slick with blood, its tail lashes, teeth glinting in the mess hall lights. Blood pools across the table, soaking Kane's lifeless body. For seconds, no one moves. Silence grips the crew. Lambert sobs. Parker swears, fists trembling. Dallas stands frozen, face ashen. The alien shrieks again, then darts across the table, vanishing into shadows. Plates clatter in its wake, leaving silence and the smell of iron. Kane lies still, chest torn open. Ripley steps back, pale but resolute. The crew stands speechless. Only Jonesy hisses faintly in his cage. Ash breaks the silence. "Extraordinary," he mutters, eyes fixed where it fled. The others stare at him in disbelief. Ripley's glare hardens to fury. Dallas finds his voice. "We'll bury him." Shock trembles in his tone. Kane is gone, replaced by something monstrous aboard the Nostromo. The crew gather in the airlock chamber, Kane's body sealed in a shroud. Dallas speaks quietly. "The company may not care, but we do. Safe journey, old friend." The hatch opens, his body drifts into the stars. Through the viewport, his shrouded form tumbles into endless night. Lambert turns away, tears streaking her face. The others stand silent, bound by grief and fear. In space, no ceremony lasts long. Back in the mess, silence lingers. No one eats. The shadows feel longer. Ripley finally speaks. "We have to find it. Whatever that thing is, it's loose on our ship." Dallas nods slowly. "We track it. We flush it out." Parker slams his fist, and we burn it. His anger masks fear. Lambert hugs herself, whispering, "If it doesn't find us first." Ash clears his throat. "It's young, vulnerable, perhaps." Studying it could be, he stops at Ripley's glare. "Studying it won't bring Kane back," she says coldly. Silence cuts sharper than blades. They gather equipment from storage. Motion trackers, nets, flamethrowers hastily assembled. The clatter of tools echoes down the corridors, reminders of fear forming into a plan. Dallas tests the tracker. A slow pulse beeps steadily, each echo a rhythm of dread. Lambert shivers, feels like it's tracking us instead. Parker adjusts the flamethrower nozzle, sparks flickering. The flame hisses, violent but fragile comfort. "At least this works," he mutters, gripping it tightly as though holding control itself. Ripley organizes the search into ship sections. We sweep every corridor, no blind corners, no one alone. Dallas agrees, his face tense. The plan feels thin, but it's all they have. Above, unseen by the crew, metal creaks. The alien shifts, larger now, sleek and strong, hidden within the steel skeleton of the Nostromo. The hunt has already begun. The crew split into teams, footsteps echoing down empty corridors. The tracker's slow beeping fills the silence. Ripley steadies them overcomes. "Stay sharp. It's here somewhere." Brett wanders through maintenance, motions slow and cautious. Pipes hiss, dripping condensation. Shadows cling to corners, each one too deep, too dark. A metallic clang echoes. Brett tightens his grip on the net. "Jonesy," he whispers. The sound repeats, softer this time, leading him deeper into the gloom. In dim light, Jonesy's cage rests near crates. The cat stares intently past Brett, fur bristling. Brett exhales shakily. "Just you, huh?" But Jonesy doesn't look away. The tracker quickens, beeps rising sharply. No, it's here," Brett mutters. He sweeps his light, silence until a shadow shifts above. The alien descends, enormous now, sleek and glistening. Its limbs unfold with terrifying grace. Brett freezes, breath trapped in his chest. It hisses, sound low and sharp, reverberating through the chamber. Brett stumbles back, fumbling for his weapon. The alien lowers its head, teeth flashing. Brett ignites the flamethrower, fire bursting outward. The blaze reveals black skin glistening, second jaw twitching. Fire drives it back, but only briefly. The alien lunges, its tail strikes, tools crashing. Brett screams, flames cutting wild arcs. The hiss overwhelms everything. From inside his cage, Jonesy watches silently. The alien turns toward him, pausing. Almost curious, it retreats, leaving the cat unharmed. Golden eyes reflect burning flames. The crew gather after Brett's disappearance, their faces pale. Ripley speaks sharply. "We stick two pairs, no one alone." Parker slams his fist on the table. It tore Brett apart. "We're next unless we kill it now." Dal steadies his voice. "We drive it into the airlock, seal it, blast it into space." His calm tone hides the strain etched into his eyes. The others nod, desperate for any plan at all. They prepare the ducts. Metal grates echo as tools scrape into place, sealing past. The tracker hums faintly. It beeps the rhythm of their fear. Ripley grips her headset, her eyes locked on the screen. Dallas enters the duct, crawling slowly on hands and knees. His flamethrower rests ahead, its hiss loud in the tight space. The duct walls close around him, shadows pressing close. His breath echoes harsh in his helmet. Ripley's voice guides him from the control room. Left, then straight. The tracker pulses faintly. Dallas wipes sweat from his brow. No readings yet. His voice is steady, but tension edges each word. Lambert's voice cracks through, comes higher-pitched. Waytime getting something. Movement. It's close. Her breathing grows sharp, panicked. The beeping quickens, a rapid heartbeat through the headset. Dallas freezes. His flamethrower rises slowly, the light trembling. Where? He demands. The beeping accelerants, sharp and frantic. Lambert cries out, "It's right there, it's coming toward you." The tracker shrieks with speed. Dallas spins, flamethrower sparking. A hiss fills the duct, louder than any machine. From the shadows ahead, the alien emerges, enormous, teeth glinting, its body filling the passage. Dallas fires, flames roaring. The duct glows bright, but the alien presses forward, unfazed. The screen fills with static as his scream cuts through cams. His voice vanishes, replaced only by silence. In the control room, Lambert sobs uncontrollably. Ripley slams her fist against the console, her jaw tight. Parker whispers, voice hollow, "He's gone." The silence after is heavier than any storm outside. The mess hall is silent, grief pressing heavy. Dallas is gone. Lambert stares blankly at the table, trembling. Parker mutters curses under his breath. Ripley finally speaks, her voice steady despite the weight. "We can't wait anymore. I'm in command now." The others look at her, surprise flashing in their tired faces, but no one objects. Authority has shifted, quiet and natural. Ripley's eyes burn with resolve. We finish this, we survive. That's the only goal left. Her first act is to consult Mother. She walks the narrow corridor to the computer room, the glow of screens washing her face pale. "Mother," she whispers, sliding into the chair. "What's the company directive on this creature?" Lines of text appear. Ripley reads slowly, her face tightening. "Priority override. Crew expendable. Creature priority 1. Breath catches." The words stare back cold and unfeeling, carved in green light across the screen. She leans back, fury and horror mixing in her chest. "Crew expendable," she repeats softly. The company never cared for their lives. She realizes now only Ash knew, and he has been guiding them toward this truth all along. Ripley confronts him in the corridor, her voice sharp as steel. "You let it in. You knew the rules." Ash tilts his head, expression unreadable. It was the only logical choice. His tone is calm, almost mechanical. Parker steps forward, fists tight. "You're protecting it." Ash doesn't deny it. Instead, he moves suddenly, faster than human reflex should allow. He slams Ripley against the wall, strength unnatural, eyes cold. The crew rush him, Parker grabbing at his arms, Lambert screaming. Ash throws him back with terrifying ease. His grip is iron, movements jerky, almost inhuman. A bead of white fluid trickles from his temple where he struck a wall. The struggle grows frantic. Parker seizes a heavy tool, slamming it against Ash's head. Sparks fly, white fluid pouring like milk. His motions stutter, still strong, but faltering. He's a machine. Parker shouts in disbelief. With one final blow, Ash collapses, circuits hissing. His voice crackles through broken lips. "You can't kill it." Sparks dance as his body jerks once more, then stills. The truth of his nature leaves the crew shaken, trust shattered. Ash's broken head sparks faintly, his words lingering in the silence. "You can't kill it." Ripley stares at the ruined android, her jaw tight. "Then we don't kill it," she says softly. "We flush it out." The crew regroup in the mess, fear carved into every face. Ripley lays out the plan. We trigger the substrut. We take the shuttle. The ship and the creature go together. Her voice is steady, though her heart pounds. Lambert's hands shake. "You want to blow up the Nostromo?" Ripley meets her eyes. "It's the only way. It won't stop otherwise." The words land heavy, but even Parker nods reluctantly. There are no better options left. They divide tasks. Parker and Lambert will gather coolant for the shuttle. Ripley will activate the self-destruct. Each moves quickly, urgency pressing them forward. The ship hums louder, as though it senses its own impending death. Ripley makes her way to the control room. Mother's chamber glows with sterile light, the screen waiting. Her hands tremble as she enters the codes. Lights flash, warnings echo. Self-destruct sequence primed. 10 minutes until detonation. In storage, Parker and Lambert move among heavy tanks. The air feels thicker, shadows pressing close. Parker adjusts his flamethrower, muttering, "If it comes, I'll burn it." Lambert's breath hitches, her fear near breaking. The tracker in Lambert's hands beeps faintly. Then faster, her eyes widen. It's here. Parker lifts his weapon, flame spitting. The alien emerges from the dark, towering now, hissing as it fills the chamber. Lambert freezes, terror rooting her to the spot. Parker shouts, "Move!" but she cannot. The alien lunges, tail whipping, teeth bared. Parker unleashes fire, but the beast is relentless, its body absorbing the heat with fury. The creature's tail pierces Parker, lifting him against the wall. His scream echoes through the chamber. He still tries to fire, flames bursting wildly. Lambert sobs, trapped by fear, unable to act as Parker's body falls still. The alien turns toward her. She backs against the wall, breath sharp, eyes wide with horror. Its second jaw extends, gleaming. Her scream fills the comms, then cuts abruptly into silence. The tracker beeps once more, then stops. Ripley rushes through the corridors, alarms blaring, red lights flashing. The comms are filled with static and faint echoes of screams. She calls Parker, Lambert no reply. The silence answers more clearly than words. Her chest tightens. They're gone. She is the last. Jonesy meows faintly in his carrier as she lifts him, pressing the cage close. "It's just us now," she whispers, though her voice shakes. She sprints toward the control room, boots pounding against the deck. The ship itself feels alive with warning sirens and groaning metal. Each alarm is a countdown beat, ticking her life away. Mother's screen glows with clinical calm. 5 minutes to detonation, the voice announces. Ripley slams her hands against the console. Overwrite, cancel, self-destruct. But the machine answers coldly. Request denied. She curses, desperation rising. The Nostromo will die, and her only chance is the shuttle. She snatches Jonesy's carrier, rushing through narrowing corridors lit in crimson. Steam bursts from vents, shadows shifting with every step. Turning a corner, she freezes. The alien looms ahead, its body glistening in the red light, blocking her path. It tilts its head slowly, teeth bared, hissing low. Ripley stumbles back, clutching Jonesy tight. She darts down a side passage, flamethrower blazing. The alien recoils slightly, but follows, its tail dragging sparks across the floor. The sound of its pursuit fills the halls, louder than the alarms. The countdown continues. 3 minutes to detonation. Mother announces, indifferent. Ripley's breath rasps, sweat streaking her face as she runs. Every turn feels like a trap, every shadow alive with threat. At last, she reaches the shuttle bay. The Narcissus waits, small and pale against the dark hole. Hope surges, fragile but bright. She throws Jonesy's carrier inside, the cat silent but safe. Her hands fly over the controls, prepping the shuttle for launch. Systems groan, engines humming to life. She glances once toward the corridor, heart pounding. If the alien blocks her again, there will be no second chance. Ripley powers the shuttle's systems, hands trembling as engines roar to life. Lights flicker across the console, steady now despite the chaos outside. She straps herself in, whispering, "Hold together, just hold together." Through the viewport, the corridors glow red with alarms. She watches the docking clamps disengage, the shuttle shuddering as it prepares to detach. The Nostromo groans, fire building deep within its frame. Jonesy's carrier rattles softly at her side. The cat presses against the glass, eyes wide but calm. Ripley steadies her breath. "We're almost free," she murmurs, her voice a fragile thread against the thunder of engines. The shuttle lurches, breaking away from the Nostromo with a violent jolt. Ripley grips the controls, forcing it steady. The ship shrinks behind her, yet its bulk fills the viewport, a steel giant waiting to die. Alarms echo faintly through comms. 1 minute to detonation. Mother interns. Ripley bites her lip, staring at the massive refinery tethered to the ship. "Good riddance," she whispers, her voice tight. The Nostromo erupts. A shockwave bursts outward, flames blooming in silence. The refinery disintegrates in a storm of fire, torn apart piece by piece. The black of space glows orange, then fades back to endless night. Ripley shields her eyes, the glare fading across the shuttle's glass. When she looks again, only fragments drift where the Nostromo once was. The silence is heavier than the explosion itself, vast and unending. Her chest rises and falls with ragged breaths. Tears sting her eyes, not only for the ship, but for the friends now: Gondolas, Kane, Lambert, Parker, Brett. Their faces linger, shadows against the stars. She turns toward Jonesy. The cat blinks slowly, untroubled, his small presence grounding her. "It's just us now," she whispers. Her voice cracks, but the words bring a fragile comfort to the quiet. The shuttle drifts onward, engines low. Ripley slumps back in her chair, exhaustion overwhelming. The nightmare seems over, yet in the silence unease stirs. Something waits still, hidden in the shadows of her escape. Ripley moves slowly through the shuttle, stowing gear, calming her breath. The hum of the engine lulls, steady and soft. For the first time, she dares to believe the danger is past. She kneels beside Jonesy's carrier, whispering gently, "Sleep now, you're safe." The cat blinks, curling into the blanket inside. The small sound of his purr softens the silence, fragile but grounding. Ripley prepares for hypersleep, opening a locker for her suit. The faint light spills across shadows. She pauses, eyes narrowing. Something shifts within the dark corner of the chamber. Her breath catches. They're wedged among the pipes. A massive shape rests. The alien, folded tight, its limbs curled, its body glistening faintly. It lies still, as though waiting. Ripley's heart pounds. She steps back silently, every movement deliberate. The monster does not stir, but its presence fills the shuttle like a shadow that breathes. She forces her mind to calm. Fire would destroy the shuttle. Panic would end her. Her eyes drift to the suits hung along the wall, their visors blank, their forms waiting. Moving with careful grace, she slips into one. The helmet seals with a hiss, her breath echoing inside. She grips the console, preparing the airlock, every button pressed as quietly as her trembling hands allow. The alien stirs, its head tilting, sensing. Ripley freezes, heart hammering against the suit. It shifts, rising slowly, its tail uncoiling like a serpent. Its hiss fills the chamber, low and terrible. She straps herself into the pilot's chair, fingers flying over controls. The airlock hums, warning lights flashing. The alien steps closer, each movement fluid, its teeth glistening as it looms. Ripley whispers inside her helmet, steadying her fear. "Come on, take the bait." She pulls the lever. The airlock hatch groans open, wind rushing out. The alien shrieks, claws digging into the shuttle as space itself tries to claim it. The alien claws at the doorway, its body whipping violently against the rush of escaping air. Ripley grips the chair straps, her suit holding firm. The howl of decompression fills the shuttle like a furious wind. Its tail lashes, striking the frame, sparks bursting. It clings with impossible strength, refusing the pull of the void. Ripley steadies her breath, eyes locked on the controls. She whispers, "Not this time." She seizes the harpoon gun, hands trembling inside the suit. Taking aim, she fires. The bolt slams into the creature's body, pinning it briefly. It shrieks, sounds sharp and terrible, echoing even above the storm. The tether drags, pulling the alien closer to the void. It thrashes, teeth snapping, inner jaw striking at empty air. Ripley clenches her fists, willing the plan to hold. "Get out," she hisses, her voice trembling. The harpoon slips from her grasp, torn free by the creature's fury. For a moment, it dangles outside the hatch, tether snapping taut. The alien clings desperately, its body half in space, half in the shuttle. With one violent jerk, the line snaps. The alien is flung into the black, its body twisting as it vanishes among the stars. The silence after is deafening, broken only by Ripley's shuddering breath. She slams the airlock closed. The hiss fades, the shuttle returning to calm. Ripley collapses back into the chair, her body trembling, every muscle spent. Her helmet fogs with each ragged exhale. For a long time, she doesn't move. The hum of the engines returns, steady, patient. The monster is gone. For the first time in endless hours, she is truly alone and safe. Slowly, she removes the helmet, her damp hair clinging to her forehead. Tears blur her vision, but relief softens her face. She wipes her cheek with a gloved hand, exhaling long and broken. Her gaze drifts to Jonesy's carrier. The cat blinks at her sleepily, his calm a strange comfort. She leans closer to the cage, whispering with a faint smile, "We did it, boy. We're still here." Ripley steadies herself, rising from the chair. Her legs shake beneath her, every step heavy after the terror that has passed. She moves slowly to the back of the shuttle, each sound amplified in the silence. The walls hum gently, the shuttle's systems purring in rhythm. After so much chaos, the calm feels unreal, as though silence itself cannot be trusted. Ripley runs her hand across the console, grounding herself. She checks Jonesy's carrier. The cat curls in the blanket, tail twitching softly. His steady presence eases the hollow ache in her chest. "You're tougher than all of us," she whispers, voice soft with awe. The memory of Parker's anger flashes in her mind, of Lambert's trembling, of Dallas's steady voice. Each gone now, their lives etched into her with sharp clarity. She closes her eyes, honoring them in silence. Her thoughts drift to Cain, the first victim, his laughter around the mess table. Then to Brett, quiet and steady, lost in the hunt. Each face lingers like shadows, echoing in the hum of the shuttle. Ripley exhales, wiping at her eyes. "I'll carry you," she whispers. "Every one of you." The words are not a promise to them, but to herself, a vow etched in grief and survival. She prepares the hypersleep chamber, hands moving slowly, deliberately. The lid rises, pale light spilling across the room. The pod waits, soft and inviting, promising rest after the nightmare. Ripley sets Jonesy's carrier beside the chamber. She kneels, meeting the cat's eyes. "We'll sleep, and when we wake, maybe someone will find us." Her voice falters, but holds to hope. She strokes the cage softly, the cat pressing close to the glass. For a moment, her chest aches with warmth. Connection, however small, feels like salvation. The shuttle drifts quietly into the stars. Ripley watches the view one last time, endless, black speckled with distant suns. Alone yet alive, she finally lets the weight slip from her shoulders. Ripley adjusts the pod settings, her fingers moving with tired precision. Oxygen levels, temperature, sleep duration all confirmed. The calm routine steadies her, a ritual after so much chaos. She slips off her suit, every movement slow, deliberate. The fabric clings with sweat, heavy from survival. She exhales, relieved to shed its weight, leaving only her exhaustion behind. The pod glows faintly, like a cocoon waiting to embrace her. She touches its edge, the smooth surface cooled beneath her fingertips. Rest has never felt so sacred. Jonesy shifts in his carrier, meowing softly. Ripley smiles faintly. "I know. It's been a long night." The sound is fragile but comforting, a thread of life pulling her closer to peace. She slides into the pod, its padding soft against her aching body. The lid hovers open, waiting for her final command. She lies back, chest rising slowly, a calm rhythm beginning to return. For a moment, she stares at the stars through the viewport. They glimmer faintly, countless and endless. She whispers, "Out there, someone will hear us." The words float into the silence, half prayer, half dream. She lowers the lid halfway, pausing. Her eyes drift closed briefly, then open again. The memories press close, faces, voices, laughter now lost. Each one lingers in her, etched into the night. Ripley's voice softens, a final record for whoever may find her. Final report of the commercial starship Nostromo. The crew is dead. Cargo destroyed. Ship destroyed. I should reach the frontier in 6 weeks. She glances at Jonesy. With a little luck, the network will pick us up. The words settle softly, spoken more to comfort herself than to inform. She strokes the pod's edge, breath deepening. The lid seals, locking her into safety. Lights dim, the hum of the shuttle steady, constant. For the first time, in what feels like forever, Ripley surrenders to rest, her body easing into sleep's embrace.